What's up, everybody? This is Gina Ifoe, the one and only African superstar, back at it again with a live stream. Hello, hello, hello to everybody. First and foremost, please head over to our sponsor, which is theafricansuperstar.com. Big shout outs to the customers of theafricansuperstar.com. Special shout outs to Ajike. She placed the order just today. So much love to you. Also, big shout outs to all of our music supporters, guys. In terms of the latest music video, Come Chill With Me, it will drop at 3,000 subscribers. It's already uploaded on the channel. We just waiting on y'all. We need about 50 more subs to get to 3K. So let's go ahead and do that. Also, big shout outs to all of our viewers and whatnot. I appreciate you guys. Today, I want to talk about a pretty heavy subject. This has actually been weighing on my mind for quite some time, but I just want to express it formally on the channel. Big shout out to the African Superstar family. If you're here, let me see you in the chat so I can greet you. I want to talk about I am penalized. I am penalized by my race, intellect, and generation. You know, some people have the idea that they live alone in this world and that what other people do or don't do doesn't have an impact on them. I'm much more realistic and factual, and I understand that what happens in other people's households, their lives, their personal choices does impact on me a lot. And this is the foundation of why I say that I'm penalized by my race. First and foremost, um, a lot of the hindrances that Black people have or experience or believe are internal beliefs. Okay. They believe that certain things are not for them. They believe that they should live a difficult life or a life full of struggle. That may be what they have always experienced in their life, generationally, or so on and so forth. They believe that certain things are not for them. I don't have those same parameters and barriers. And so, therefore, um, I feel very, very hindered by my race at times because the things that I want to do, the interests that I have kind of go beyond what parameters have been preset. The lifestyle I like, my tastes, my exposure, even just down to the way that I speak, my perspective on the world. There are so many alludes that I deal with all the time because I'm a Black person who grew up in America. And unfortunately, from my perspective, a lot of those expectations are negative. Um, People in the international community have very, very low expectations of Black Americans. Although people that live in America think that they are, the cream of the creme, they think that they're the cream of the crop, they think everybody admires them and wants to be like them. Unfortunately, I deal with in the international community kind of the backlash of that because all those negative stereotypes that are generated surrounding Black Americans. I won't necessarily always say that it is Black American. There's a lot of stereotypes, but there are many, many things that we do that perpetuate these type of stereotypes when it comes to Black women. You know, although I personally don't fit the bill for many of the stereotypes that are put out there, I'm subjected to them. People look at me in a certain way. People expect a certain kind of connotation or behavior from me. All of this is before they even have an interaction with Gina. You know, this is before they know about the world travels. This is before they know about the education. This is before they know about my Pan Africanism or my unconventional view on the world. This is all before. You know, I am hindered. You know, I'm well aware that in my case, to accomplish things, I have to work so much harder than other people at times to overcome these things. I'm also hindered by my intellect. I hate to say it, but a lot of people, modern day, for one reason or another, are very, very uninformed. They are very ignorant. They are very negative. They have closed minds. People with intellect are definitely punished in society. We're punished for speaking the truth. We're punished for being critical thinkers. We're punished for um, believing and perpetuating community because what we learn, we try to share with our peers. When I think back over, some of the reprimands that I have received, most of them are directly connected to community. Because had I just done the song and dance like so many of you do, had I just kept quiet, had I just grin and bear it, you know, had I just sold out, had I just cooned, I wouldn't have dealt with a fraction of these because I gotta say it, and definitely I know that my family would back me up on this. My mom would back me up on this. I'm a very well behaved person, you know. I don't get into trouble. I don't get into drama. I don't live a tumultuous life. My only crime has been being too smart and trying to share that information with people that are near and dear to me. The next point I want to talk about is this generation. This generation, this bloody generation. I am surrounded by people who are not forward thinkers. They don't think about tomorrow. I'm surrounded by people that uh, don't know or exercise any self control or problem resolution. I'm surrounded by people that are very gullible, you know, highly influenced, and ultimately going to be a detriment to themselves and our future because of the way that they behave. And to be honest, guys, I really feel trapped at times. Big shout outs to Jerome and Kimberly. They're the only ones in the chat room today. Big shout outs to the African Superstar family. Those of you guys that know the code, much love to you. Please make sure you like this stream. I know it's a bit serious, but I was alone in my thoughts this morning, and this is what was on my mind. My generation. You know, when I look at how things are going, how things are going in the lives of my peers, you know, I'm deeply concerned because it seems to me that my parents and my grandparents were on a totally different wavelength at this point of their lives when they were growing up. Now, people will deflect and people will always make excuses because that is one thing that my generation is so good at. My generation is so good for making excuses for bad behavior and low performance, you know? And even when they get made aware that we've been misled, they're also great at not implementing change. Change is the only thing that can make things better. Not talking about it, not powwowing about it, not focusing on the problems, not tearing down the black man, not tearing down the black woman, not going outside the race, not becoming a transgender or homosexual. To fix many of the problems in our community, guys, it is to attack it at the root. One of the other challenging things that I deal with being a part of the international community is just how different our way of thinking is as Black people globally. In an ideal world, you would see a Black lady or a Black man, and you would, make conversation with them, and you'd have a lot in common with them. When you guys talked about serious issues, you would be aligned in your way of thinking. You would be aligned in your way of parenting. You would be aligned in your value system. But what I see is, unfortunately, and heavily in the West, is every man for himself. And as we participate in all this detrimental behavior, guys, we continue to break down our community even more. even more. Because in as much there's people that um, are very visible enemies, are very vocal enemies, there are a lot of you, huh? Lazy, useless, contradictory, huh? Negative, non communal. You won't practice what you preach. You won't talk to your kids. You won't do anything except complain about the situation. And I just want to let all of you know, everyone who finds this video, I'm so frustrated. I'm so disgusted. I'm so tired to go to many different countries, see the state of my people, and us not be able to agree on anything. It's crazy. I happened into a live TikTok last night, and there was a Black American lady who was hosting the TikTok, and there were several other, they sounded American, had American accents in the chat room, and they were talking negatively about Africans. They were talking more specifically about Nigerians and Ghanaians, and they were talking about how they are scammers and so on and so forth. So a Ghanaian guy was in the chat. He called in and he explained to them that the West is the biggest scammer of all, and that a lot of the things that are being utilized in Africa for negative means come from the West, such as the technology that people are using online and so on to do these romance scams and all of this stuff. And, I just thought to myself, I'm like, unfortunately, we don't realize the bigger picture. You know, we're so busy at a very low level arguing among ourselves, fighting ourselves, hating ourselves, degrading ourselves. While the big enemy and the person who has seeded it all sits back and laughs at us. Oh, you fools, you don't see. We even talk, we even identify how other communities are strong, but we refuse to work with each other. And those of us that make efforts to work with each other end up getting used and embarrassed and humiliated by our own peers. And I just have to say, I try to keep a positive tone, but I'm also a very honest person, and I'm sick of you people. Yes, I am. Because I have my own personal objectives, but guess what? I have to collaborate with you guys, and you guys really refuse to cooperate. The things that we talk about, let's be real here. The things that we talk about, the things that are absolutely a necessity to growing our community, we refuse to do it. How long does it take to make a school and change your curriculum? How long does it take? Huh? How long does it take for you to make a trip to the continent? How long does it take? How long does it take to make a Black family? Why is it harder to get along with our peers than someone outside the race? Why is it popular to emulate Black people, but those of us that are real Black people suffer and live a desolate life? Guys, you know, and I see some of you guys in the chat room, and certainly I'm preaching to the choir. I know that a lot of you guys understand the sentiments that I'm experiencing, the emotions that I'm experiencing right now. When I'm in the West, my mental state really fluctuates because it's such a miserable place. And I see the destruction, in our community. Sometimes I see it before it begins, or I see it in the middle, and I see it at the end. And why we refuse to just face the music, why we refuse to be responsible, huh? why we refuse to pass the buck, why we leave the responsibility in the hands of a few people because we ourselves refuse. We ourselves refuse. Oh, yeah, we want to send money to the latest charismatic person so they can talk that talk, huh? And when they end up scamming everybody, we want to complain about that person. But that person was out there in front. It was so easy to send that 20-pound donation. It was so easy to get involved in the movement because we didn't want to do it ourselves. That's just the truth. Every time I see these clearly obvious pyramid schemes, huh? Big shout outs to the family. If you guys know how to recognize a pyramid scheme, first trivia question, go ahead and drop something in the chat. One of the first things to recognize a pyramid scheme is get your friends. Once you bring 2 or 3 friends, you're going to make 5% of whatever they bring in and so on. Pyramid scheme. Pyramid scheme. Even the church is a pyramid scheme. Most businesses are a pyramid scheme. You know those ads before this very video? You want to learn how to make $500 a day? You want an extra 10,000 pounds a month? Pyramid schemes. When are we going to stop falling for the okie doke and say, you know what? I'm going to do something myself. I'm tired of waiting. I'm not a victim. Okay. I'm smart. I'm capable. I could do something on my own. Collaboratively, there are millions of Black people in the world. Millions. Many of us YouTubers command platforms of anywhere from a few hundred all the way up to millions, like Wodamaya. The collective power is there, the numbers are there, but the workers are few. If even 1% of those of you that watch us on YouTube took any initiative, we'll see a positive change. I'm just one person, and I've been able to impact the lives of thousands currently that I'm aware of. Thousands. One person. One person. Small resources, small capital. I just use my voice and my phone and this microphone to communicate with my peers. I just back up my actions with my words. But as it stands right now, I'm penalized by all these things because I recognize that I don't live in the world alone, you know. And the thing that always drives me, the number one reason I keep coming back here to YouTube, the number one reason I stay, relatively in the public eye is because I think about the younger version of Gina. And I think about how, with the right information, I would have been able to make better decisions that would have overall impacted my life better. That's what we should be thinking about. We should be thinking about setting the stage for those to come. We should be thinking about those to come, not repeating the mistakes that we made. Okay. We should think about alleviating, some of the problems and pressures that we experience for those to come. But guess what? If you do nothing, you're complicit. That's one thing I admire about the previous generations. Um, Even though the effects of civil rights, in my opinion, have been quite negative on the Black community, what can be said is there was cohesion in the community. The people were like-minded enough to use their collective power to push a movement the way we are currently, guys. You know, um, it's difficult to drum up support from even just a few, just to do something minimal. We keep asking, a handful of people via government or via social media to do this, to do that, when there are thousands and millions of you guys that with your hands we could accomplish so much more. you know, with a perspective mentality to grow and strengthen our community. We could do so much more. I can't do it all. I can't do it all. And actually, to be honest, I don't want to do it all. I want to live a soft life. I want to enjoy my life. I've currently been working hard my entire life. It's like climbing a mountain that just never ends. And I don't want to live like that. You know, at least if you're climbing and climbing and pushing, at the end of the day, you get something to show for it. As it stands, guys, our people are in a pitiful state. You know, Ignorant people will say, well, it's these people and it's that people and it's in America and it's in the UK and it's in Ghana and it's on the continent. I'm here to tell you, our people are failing globally. There may be some individual success, but our community is failing. And it's going to actually be completely diminished if we don't make a drastic change right now. Because all you got to do is see the way that Black people are currently interacting in the West, and you can see that it's having a profound effect on our young people and in our communities. I saw a post this morning on Facebook. I'm getting ready to wrap up because I mean, there's like nobody in the chat today. I don't know. But I saw a post from a classmate of mine back in Ohio today, and she was kind of having like deep thoughts about where she is in her life and where she wants to be and how she's tried continually. And I mean, I can definitely empathize because a lot of times you will be the one who's deeply invested in something more than other people, you know. But if you're able to connect with like-minded people where two or three are joined in it, they agree and they move forward in the right direction. When I think about my idea of the dream team, that's what I've always wanted to do, where, people from the West partner with Continentals and together we create a great project. What I'm currently seeing is either side of the coin trying to take advantage of the other person in many cases. And that just seeds the deceit, that just seeds the distrust. People don't want to do business. They don't really want to get invested. They have, because of the way that we're treating each other. All I can really say, and like I said, I'm going to close. All I can really say to you people out there is walk it like you talk it and be better men and better women, period. You don't need a reason to treat one of your peers decently. You don't need a reason to do good business practices. Huh? Just do it. Just do it. Because if, this carries on, I mean, you're simply going to just discourage those of us that really care and love our people. It will come to a point where they just don't want anything. Get a phone call live. So, these are my thoughts today. I know it's a bit heavy. Sorry, this person is really calling. I'm waiting for my phone to stop ringing. Is it gonna stop ringing? Jeez. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's hope it doesn't ring again. Um, but what you end up doing is just discouraging us from wanting to even get involved in it because it's just not getting any results. You know what I mean? Like it shouldn't be this hard, in my opinion. I never set out to evangelize the world, but it really shouldn't be this hard to get damn near, 20, 50 people together out of the whole world. Culmination of the US, UK, and Ghana. Okay, let me go because I keep getting calls. So I'm going to wrap up, guys, now. Until we meet again, stay black and true. If you ain't black, just stay true.